Welcome back to Grade 7 Math. This is lesson number 1.4, Apply the Order of Operations. In math, there are problems which require us to do several operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. For these problems, we need to use what is called order of operations. The order of operations works as follows, and we're going to use not BEDMAS, but BODMAS. We're going to use BODMAS because one, that's what you'll see in your textbook, and two, that's also what you'll see on Mathletics. Okay, I'm sure last year you may have had a chance to work with BEDMAS, which includes exponents, but here we're working with BODMAS. And it's basically the same thing, with the exception of one letter. So we start off with brackets. O means order. And the order is as follows. We do division and multiplication first, well, following the brackets. And then at the end, we take care of addition and subtraction. And just a couple of important notes. For division and multiplication, we do these in order from left to right. So as you're looking from left to right, if a multiplication sign appears before a division sign, we actually do the multiplication first. And another important note, for addition and subtraction, we do these in order from left to right. So again, if we see a subtraction sign before an addition sign going from left to right, we do the subtraction first. It is very important that we use BODMAS in the correct order. We must start with brackets, and we must divide or multiply before we add or subtract. If we do not follow the order of operations correctly, we will get an answer that is, if you said incorrect or wrong, you're exactly right. If you do not follow BODMAS in the correct order, you will end up with an answer that is completely incorrect. Here, let's try an example that shows why we have to use the correct order of operations. We're going to use BODMAS to solve the following problem. So I'll just get my pen set up here while you take a look at the problem. So what I need to do is I need to first look for any division or multiplication and take care of that first. Okay, and I start at the left and work my way right. What I find is that I've got 3 times 2 here. So I find it helps to underline the part which I'm focusing on at the moment. So I'm just going to rewrite the problem, except here I'll take care of 3 times 2, which is 6. And you're probably saying, hey, Brian, we've got 7 divided by 7. You're right. So that we need to take care of next. So that gives us 4 plus 5 minus 6 plus 1. Now, I'm thinking we can probably just do this all in our heads here at this point. This is all addition and subtraction, working from left to right. So 4 plus 5 equals 9. 9 minus 6 equals 3. And 3 plus 1 equals 4. Yeah, I should probably just put equal signs here. Sometimes having the equal signs here just helps me see the flow of the work I'm doing. And yes, when you're working on problems like these in class, you are most definitely going to be expected to show your work. Okay, as you get into higher grades, you may be able to do a number of steps in your head, and you might not write them down, but since we're still working at middle school level, I do expect to see you showing all of your work. Okay, now let's try the same problem without using BODMAS. So I'm just going to start right at the left, work my way to the right, ignoring the order of operations. So I could say 4 plus 5 is 9. Okay, and I'll just rewrite the rest of the problem. Okay, 9 minus 3 equals 6. Now your mind's racing ahead and you're thinking, well, 6 times 2 is 12. Okay, we've got 12 plus 7 divided by 7. In the end, what I end up with is 12 plus 7 is 19. Okay, that's 19 over 7. And just flicking back to the last page, my correct answer was 4. Okay, 19 over 7 is not the same as 4. So as you can see, if you don't follow BODMAS correctly, you're going to end up with a completely inaccurate answer. Okay, so you're going to put the video on pause and try these two examples at home. And we will take these up tomorrow, so make sure that you write these down on a piece of paper. Pause the video now. Okay, you're going to pause the video again and try these two problems at home. And a couple more. You'll notice these problems are getting a little bit longer. That's what we want in grade 7, to have longer problems to work out. So put the video on pause. All right, let's take a look at this one together, because I'm certainly going to give you some word problems to try on your own in our next class. Write an arithmetic expression for this problem. Then evaluate the expression using the order of operations. Mr. Smith charged Jill $32 for parts and $15 per hour for labor to repair her bicycle. If he spent 3 hours repairing her bike, how much does Jill owe him? Okay, so we need to look at some important information. We know that he charges $32 up front before he even starts his work, $32 for parts. Okay, and then he charges $15 per hour for the amount of work he does. And in Jill's case, he has spent 3 hours. So we need to put this together. So let's do this. Say start off with $32. Jill has to pay that right up front. Okay, and in addition, this means that she has to add. She's paying $15 for each hour that Mr. Smith works. So he's working 3 hours. So this means that we're going to need to multiply 15 times 3. If you want to put the video on pause and try to work this out on your own, you can. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to apply order of operations. So we have our $32 plus 15 times 3 equals 45. And then when I add in total, Jill is going to have to pay a grand total of $77. There you go. If you want, you might want to just go back and replay this last part of the video if you had trouble understanding how I arrived at this solution. But in conclusion, okay, in our next class, you're going to get a selection of problems to work on at home. If you have your textbook at home tonight and you want to get a little bit of a head start, you certainly can. Otherwise, this will be awaiting you after we take up the problems that were contained in this video. But until we meet again, this concludes today's video.